Hello and welcome back to Minagoroshi. Last episode was a doozy because we got a lot of information, which is good. We finally have the full picture on how Tomotachi and Takano deaths happen. Um, but yeah, we should definitely go over that. I was just thinking a lot, and when you learn the answers, you kind of go back to your theories, and it's oh man. It's just I think one of the main problems I guess with my theory making is me not really looking too hard at the mysterious drug and I guess the idea of a disease, but the idea of a disease wasn't really relevant until last arc. But I guess it was more of the idea of a mysterious drug and that whole plot line, just because I kind of disregarded it a bit because I almost thought it was just a bait from Anu Tatushi, which I mean it technically kind of was. But yeah, I feel like if you actually, for any, I mean obviously it wouldn't matter for anyone watching this, but if someone was theorizing early Higurashi and they started to go look at symptoms and stuff for a disease, or at least symptoms of why people commit the murders, then I feel like it's maybe they could have come closer to some semblance of the truth. I mean, Aiden, you got talking right. Everyone's trying to get talking right. It's not a hard answer, but it's more because I feel like this paints a lot bigger picture. Because I was thinking about early Minagoroshi, and what did we learn from Rika talking about Hani? We learned that when people hit a certain level of the disease, which name I already forgot, they can start hearing Hanyu slash they start hearing all the other stuff. So that basically means that at the very beginning of the arc we had a rule X where someone goes crazy from paranoia and kills someone or goes on a killing spree or whatever. It's not even that true. I mean it kind of is, but it's really when the person reaches a high stage of the disease and then goes on a killing spree. And what's pretty cool is if you actually if you connected the dots about the footsteps, which I mean we did, but again I wasn't too excited to theorize about that because there's no way you can guess what it really is. But I guess I should have connected the dots and see, okay, you know, these people hear the footsteps. What can that mean? And I think the big hint, which I realized today, while I was, because after this big info drop, you've just been thinking about it a lot, but there's actually a pretty nice hint in here, which doesn't really connect until you learn about this until you think about it a bit more, and it didn't even connect last episode, but they actually kind of give you a hint that Tomotaki is actually infected with the disease and is not vaccinated because in Mayatashi and Watanagashi, where he heard Hanyu jumping up and trying to spook Shion and Takano. And as we know from Rika, you can only hear it when you're, I think it's L4 or L5. I think L5 is when you die, so it's L4. So that means Tomotaki was or I don't know. I don't know the exact number, but it means Tomotaki was infected during that. That's why he could hear and Shion could hear. And obviously Keiichi couldn't hear because he was not at a high stage of the disease, so there's zero risk of him actually killing anybody that arc. So I thought that was pretty cool. I feel like if you were thinking in that direction, you can maybe connect the dots. It's all right, so Shion could hear the noise, and so could Tomotaki, and we know Tomotaki dies every arc, possibly from high paranoia, because you can connect it to Keiichi's death. Then it actually also gives you a hint that it's actually Shion the one killing, not Mion, because Shion's hearing the noise too, which indicates some sort of paranoia. So that's actually pretty cool. Or I guess maybe it doesn't, because maybe that's just to know they die, but still, I think it was a cool detail we missed. I missed. I always say we as the channel, as a collective, but yes. But you know what? Theorizing is about fun. I had fun. I wasn't expecting to actually hit my mark, and unlike Minato, I don't actually think you can predict the whole story like you can in. Well, you can't predict the whole story in Minato, but you can get a pretty good chunk of it just from honestly from the first episode, if you really think about it a lot. But yeah, just wanted to share that thought because I realized that Tomotaki thing this morning, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. I really want to mention it tonight. So I'm glad I remembered. But yeah, Takano confirms kills Tomotaki. We've confirmed the crispy Takano stuff. It wasn't like I said it was, but actually it's like kind of different. Like they don't even like really fake the body's like DNA and stuff. I'm pretty sure they just like, I don't know, get a Tokyo seal of approval or something. I don't know what they did to like make the coroner believe it's Mio Takano, but maybe they just mixed some of her hair and they made sure not to burn it or something. Actually, no, because they only use dental records. I have no idea. No idea what they do. So we have that completely figured out. I'm still not 100% convinced Takano did the past murders, but it's mainly because I just can't really connect the dots. Because we know Takano's working for an organization, and I'm guessing their end goal is to create the Hinamizawa disaster, which includes the explosion, and they were also talking about, or Tomotaki was saying that there could be an outbreak of the disease. So it's one of those two. I don't know which one's which, whatever. I just don't really see how Takano killing all those people year after year really helps with the plan. I can kind of see the first murder, to be honest, because like that's still a mystery. But what if they were like hired by Takano because they didn't want? But it's like, why wouldn't the government just like not sink Hinamizawa if they know it's a nice research spot? I don't know. I'm sure we'll get a lot more background information, whether in this chapter or the next. So we can just wait and see, I guess. But yeah, we got a lot. We got a confirmation on some big parts and filling out a lot of the gaps for the mysteries in the past arcs, like we talked about Anakatashi and some of the Totoroshi stuff. So let's see what's happening. This is the day after. The crime was a bit different. Tomotachi's body was slightly further than normal, but I think the biggest thing is everyone should know that Rika was literally predicting their deaths. So the friends and Oishi hopefully like take notice that there might be something more going on. But I guess we can just see what happens. So let's start it out. The day after Watanagashi, Oishi showed up at her school. It isn't uncommon for Oishi to show up here today. Nice. Okay, so this is Rika view. I have a feeling we won't be switching to Teichi view for the rest of the arc. I mean, it made sense for the whole Satoko thing, but I feel like we're only gonna get Rika view or like Oishi view or Takano view or something. Not like Teichi or the other club members. Interestingly, he always asks to see the most key person in that world. He asks for Teichi in the world where he gets sick. He asks for Rena in the world where she gets... Okay, so she's totally talking about them being sick. So actually, that definitely makes me review my Anakatashi, which I kind of revised it in the comments, but... Because I said, okay, so Teichi does the thing, then he runs away, but he gets caught by the mountain gods and they inject him to kill him to cover up the whole thing. But in actuality, he was already suffering from a high level of the disease early on, and the mountain gods were actually trying to suppress him with the vaccine, I assume. I mean, I guess they could just try to kill him too. We don't really know, but yeah. In either case, in everyone, they're not actually paranoid. They're just suffering from a high level of the disease. In this world, he asks for me.
富田家が死にましたか?
ええ、ちょっと尋常じゃない死に方でしてね。薬物か何かで錯乱状態だったんじゃないかと思います。
The funny thing is, too, Rika knows all about the drugs, I'm pretty sure, so... I wouldn't be surprised if she reveals it to like Oishi or to the friend group and try to get help.
自分で自分の喉をかき破るという
Alright, I
ショッ
think
キ
she
ング
knows
な
a lot
亡くなり
about
方
it
でした。
anyways.
やはり抗えないのか。
There's nothing I can do now. I knew this was going to happen. I'm sure Takano is dead too.
高野は
彼女についても残念なご連絡があります。隣の県の山中で焼死体で発見されました。死体の状況から多分考察された後に焼かれたんじゃないかと思
It's
ってい
pretty
るのですが
interesting that they revealed the information to us while Rika is still in the dark. It makes it kind of awkward from her POV, but I guess it's also exciting in a different way.
どちらにせよ気の毒な話です。
大石の考えは分かってますです。僕が何か知っていると思っているんでしょう。
I wonder how Oishi's normal interrogation is gonna go with Rika. I don't know if his strats are gonna be too effective.
いやいや、まさかまさか。疑うとしたらこの一点だけです。あの人混みの中で小耳に挟めるようなところでこんな物騒な話をする人がいるわけがない。
僕が何かの陰謀の片棒を担いでると思っていますですか。
と思い込みたいところですが、それも引っ込めました。本当にその気ならあなたは私にあんな入れ知恵をすることはなかったんですからね。
It's true.
少なくとも今回の事件を起こそうと考えた何者かとは相対する位置にいると思ってま
It's
す。
a good start, but how much can we trust Oishi, I guess?
それが本当ならとても嬉しいのです。
Oishi threw a 10 yen coin in the offering box and shook the bell in prayer.
どうか今年こそ南沢村連続開始事件を終わらせられますように。
I do want to believe that maybe Oishi and his partner actually did catch on in Higurashi, and then the mountain dots just killed them. Because, no matter how badass they are, there's a lot of mountain dots, I think.
そのために僕に協力しろと。
今のはお社様にお願いしたんですよ。
Oishi is well aware that people call me the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama. That must have been his attempt at a joke. It's kind of funny.
こんなたたりはもう金輪際にしてほしいと思っていますです。
おや、ならフルデさんと私の求めるところは一致するようですね。
僕は昨日富武の死体が見つかりそうなところを予言しましたです。そこにパトカーはいなかったのですか。
いいえ、ちゃんと巫女様の予言に従って配置しました。
Oh, she's gonna learn that the body was slightly further than normal.
ほら、細道路と砂利道の境目になっているあたりがあるじゃないですか。
That's a start.
通称村境とか呼ばれているあたりです。あそこら辺はとても暗いですからね。何かヤバいことの起こりそうな匂いが一番プンプンするあたりです。
では富武の死体はどこで。
配置場所よりももっとずっと沖宮寄りの水田地帯の路肩です。
That's not where his body is usually found. If he was fated to hallucinate and die, he would die in exactly the same spot, whether the cruiser was there or not. Okay, so maybe Rika thought that he really did just get the disease and hallucinate and die, but now she knows that there is someone confirmed doing it, but I feel like you should already know that since Takano also gets strangled and dies. Just because the cruiser was placed there, Tomotachi's body was found in a totally different spot. In other words, the existence of the police cruiser disrupted that fate.
でですね、ここからがちょいと面白い話になります。 パトにはですね、私通る車もチェックさせたんです。そしたら高野の車が祭りの終わった後、沖宮高校を通過したんですよ。
You know, honestly, I'm surprised at my memory sometimes, but I do remember, and I'm guessing it wasn't to Todoroshi, but actually it only made sense into Todoroshi, because that's where Oishi disappears. But there was a hint where Oishi was checking out a car, and then and we didn't really see his POV, but then the officer at the station's like, oh, why is Oishi checking this car? And they're like, oh, maybe it's because they bumped into him. It's just an ordinary car. They never told the name. What if he did find Takano's car that one time? Takano lives in Okinomiya. It wouldn't be strange for her to head back after the festival. I'm just saying. I feel like that's a pretty good possibility. Again, because like, how else would Oishi get taken out, bro? We already know he's a freak of nature. But yeah.
ただ乗ってたのは一人だったんです。
I'm impressed with myself. just hearing the line, they found someone's tar plate. It just freaking, I just got a flash of light in my brain. I'm like, oh yeah, remember that hint?
富武は乗っていなかった。
富武はひなみ沢にはいつも自転車で来ますから。
There's no way they saw a bike in the window. Did they?
なら自転車をトランクに積んで車に乗せてもらうのが普通じゃありませんか。
But this is very sharp. This is really good luck, actually.
ですが富武は一緒じゃなかった。にもかかわらず富武の死体はひなみ沢からパトを越えて沖宮の方の水田地帯で見つかる。
つまり
あの真っ暗な中、森の中を突き進んでパトを迂回したなんてできる芸当ではありません。
That's super honestly, he does have a paranoid mind because he can believe in Rena's theories, but it's actually coming together really nicely for once.
だとしたらパトに気づかれずに街道を抜けるしか考えられない。フルデさん、高野と仏の関係について教えていただけませんか。
恋人同士、それしか知らないです。
高野がね、恋人との最後の夜の仰せを一人で帰るというのが腑に落ちない。
Rika should too, because they went, we know they left the festival together.
富武はその時トランクの中に詰められていてあの真っ暗な森の中に捨てようとした。
Well, she wasn't planning on hiding the body, but
だがお告げのパトカーがたまたまそこにいちゃったもんで仕方なくそこを通り抜け。
I'm sure it's hard for Rika to trust Oishi's words, looking into the past worlds where he probably just misjudged the situation a lot, but this is actually like golden.
もっと先で富武を捨てた。
Both Tomitaki and Takano were sent here from Tokyo. I have no idea what their real identities are. I can't say that Takano had no reason to kill Tomitaki. However, I never considered that possibility before in my life. Takano killing Tomitaki? But why? I can't think of any reason. Nothing comes to mind. Yeah, I mean, there's no real reason we see in, to be fair, you can, like I said, you can suspect Takano of killing Tomitaki, but there should be no motive. Like, no, I mean, you can randomly think of a motive, but you can't think of an actual solid motive you can back with, like, proof towards almost any of the killings, to be honest, besides, like, the main ones we actually focus on, so I don't blame Rita. And it's hard to imagine Takano was cornered to the point she had to kill him. In fact, it was more plausible to think she was enraged when the love said Tomitaki had to go towards her and she strangled his neck.
私はあのカップルどことなく不釣り合いだなってずっと思ってました。こう言っちゃ富武君に失礼ですが、高野さんでは 荷が勝ちすぎているんじゃないかなってずっと思ってました。
Don't diss my boy.
高野が富武を何かに利用しようとして近づいていたとか、
Ooh, this might trigger
そういう
something.
話を村の中で聞いたことはありませんかね。
Oishi,
な
my
いで
dude.
す。でも話は聞いてみようと思いますです。
The villagers wouldn't know. Irie might.
何か分かったら大石にも知らせますで
But
す。
he doesn't suspect her either, so probably not.
ありがとうございます。
Ooh, the mounted odds know Rika's talking to Oishi, so I wonder if any action's gonna be taken.
村の内部に詳しい方、それも御三家の当主でお社様の生まれ変わりの協力がいただければ鬼に金棒ですよ。
But even the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama couldn't solve this mystery for over 100 years.
でもその高野も殺されたのですよ。どういうことなのですか？
Yeah.
私はもしあなたから垂れ込み、おっとお告げを聞いていなかったら、多分きっと富武と高野は共に犠牲者でお社様のたたりの5年目ってことになったんだろうと思い込んだと思います。
Man, I love Oishi. Even if he is the mastermind, but like, in this arc, I'm like 99% sure. I mean, you should be after the reveal that he's not involved in anything, but I guess I'm a naturally suspicious person that he still could be I don't know what. I guess the only option would be like the past curse murders, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 or all of them, because again it doesn't really mix with the Takano following a big organization. I don't really understand that, but I don't know. He's so cool though. I love cops like him in movies and dramas and stuff where the bad cops who break the rules and get involved with some shady stuff but are like doing it for the ultimate good goal or whatever.
ですが
It's my type
こうな
of
ってくる
character.
とどうも違う。どうやらこいつはお社様のたたりの5年目ってことにしようとした巧
Yo,
妙な事件のように見えてきました。
I think he said I think he said this in Watanabe in a hint, because in Anu Takashi, Takano's body's actually just disappeared. But in I think it was Watanabe where we first discovered her body burnt, and then Oishi's like, oh, this time 2 corpses instead of 1 dead, 1 missing. What's Oyashiro planning this year? And maybe this is a hint that Takano didn't do the past murders and she is just trying to mimic it. But it would be hilarious, because if she didn't do it, then it's either a coincidence, which honestly I'm alright with believing, even though it's weird, or it's Oishi, which would also be funny because Oishi knows it's not the curse of Oyashiro-sama, because he's the one who does it, but like, I'm insane.
つまり高野が犯人。
But yes, I am like 100% sure Takano's the Rika killer. I mean, we know she's the Tomotaki killer, but I'm like so sure she's the Rika killer, and Oishi has nothing to do with that at all. Basically, this is what Oishi is trying to say. I'm glad Rika's learning about this now too, because if she does die, which I do feel like this world is Brit, sadly, but I don't know, maybe she can turn it around. She'll at least remember this. They're not both victims. The culprit is also pretending to be a victim. This is really hard for me to believe. I can't think of any reason why Takano would do something like this. Oishi only feels that way because he doesn't know her as well as I do. For another thing, how can he explain that Takano's body was found? Yeah, but I'm like so I think Oishi has been so good this chapter that it almost just wants me to put him as innocent. Just put him on the innocent list, but it would be if I could actually think of a reason why Takano would do the past murders, but it just doesn't fit. We need some more info on Operation Doomsday and what the actual plan is. Because to me, the plan sounds, again, just blow up the Hinamizawa and spread the disease or whatever, but what does that have to do with the past 5 years? Sorry, I'm ranting a lot, but like obviously there's a lot to talk about. But yes, the dental records is how they identified the corpse. So I wonder if they just took one of Takano's teeth. Kind of sucks for her, but I guess it's worth it.
ただ、うちの鑑識のじじいが言うには、それでも 100% じゃないという。まあ、それよりおかしいのが、現場の県警鑑識の死
Wonder
亡
if Rika knows about that. I assume she does,
死亡
but
時刻が合わなかったらしいんです。
死亡時刻が合わない。
maybe she doesn't though.
ねえ、祭りの前夜にはもう殺されてたっていう鑑識が出ちゃったらしいんです。内容物とかそういうのから調べるらしいですね。ですが、この時点で岐阜さんには高野の話をしちゃってたんです。だからお隣の県警さん、綿流しの日に彼氏とデートしてたはずの死体が死後24時間では話が合わないって言って、その鑑定結果を握りつぶしちゃったらしい。死亡時刻の鑑定なんかより死体の歯型鑑定の方がよっぽど精度が高いですからね。
I don't blame them to be honest, but
まあ現場にはたまにある話です。
it's honestly kind of a meme. Takano just did that because she wants to have fun, spice things up. I appreciate it. I like to spice things up once in a while.
ですが、高野が犯人かもしれないって目で見てみると、こいつは高野の死体じゃない可能性が出てきます。
死体をごまかすことなんて可能なのですか？
焼死体の鑑定は基本的に歯型以外は絶望的です。
I remember reading about this just because I was trying to make sure. I forgot what theory video it was, but I do remember dental teeth are the only way, and sometimes fingerprints, I think. Wait, no. No, you know what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of identifying identical twins that look exactly the same. That one's dental records and fingerprints. Pretty sure I did a burnt body one too, but now I'm a little shaky. Yes, I was trying to. That was for watching Higurashi. Trying to tell if they could misidentify Mion's body in the well. I remember that.
例えば、これは推理小説的な荒技ですが、沖宮のデンタルクリニックに残されていた高野美代の歯型のカルテ。これが巧妙な手口で捏造されていたら、誤認もあり得る。まあそんなのは抜きにして、単純にお隣の県警さんが高野に間違いないと決めつけてしまった可能性の方が高いですが、警察組織内では往々にして初動時の鑑定ミスが後々まで尾を引くことが少なくない。伝説的な冤罪事件のほとんどはこれに起因します。私はどうやらその可能性が拭えない気がする。
つまり高野は生きてる。
高野美代は先日以来車ごと行方不明です。現地の死体が高野でないなら、これはなんだか面白そうな話になってきます。
Wanna ask Hanyu about it? Or Irie? Irie had already heard about the deaths of Tomotaki and Takano-san. It seemed like both the clinic and the office in Tokyo had flown into a panic over it. It's funny how they made such a big fuss over their own people when they don't care about what happens to other people's lives if it would get in the way of their research. Okanoji. Takano... Wait. Huh? Okay, so... Okay, I was confused to see him, but whatever. Takano's subordinate Okanoji was in the room. Okanoji is the leader of the Mountain Dogs. I came here to make sure he's still willing to protect me. Based on past experience, they tend to lose interest in protecting me after Takano dies.
おこのぎ
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. Someone mentioned it to me. But yes, and I feel like someone hinted at it in Sumi Horoboshi, but I just never really connected the dots, I guess. It's like a blind spot in my apparently godlike memory. But yes, this is the guy in chapter 4 of Umineko with the red suit. I was like so confused. I don't really understand the lore, but I guess we'll just continue on and see. I guess he lives and becomes a rich business owner. It's nice. Related to the to the Ushiro Miyas. I don't know. It's funny. I guess we'll just see how that comes if they actually show it. Maybe you just turned a new leaf. I guess you have to be pretty ruthless in that business too, because he was willing to kill someone. So
高野が死んでしまいましたですが、僕は大丈夫なのですか？
大丈夫ですよ、リカさん。
yeah, we know you. Well,
我々
Rika
が
doesn't.
今後も厳重に警護してますんで。ですから、警察に頼ろうとしなくても問題ないです。
I guess this is part of that tight security. They must have been listening to my conversation with Oishi.
大石に聞きました。高野が実は死んでいないというのは本当ですか？
What a question.
まさか。現地の県警の正式な発表ですね。
Surprised you just said that.
大石という刑事は今年で定年。お社様のたたりを何とか解決したい一心で、何でも話をおかしくしようとする癖がありよります。
That should be really believable to Rika, to be
あいつ
honest.
の言うことに耳を貸さん方がいいでしょう。
Well, he's not wrong, yeah. This year is Oishi's last chance. Because he's so desperate, he developed a bad habit of listening to every rumor he hears. You know what? Can we just clear Oishi? Fuck, I want to clear Oishi. Whatever, he's cleared in my heart of hearts, but if he is somehow involved and double crosses me, I will feel really sad, but deep down. Not in my heart, because he's cleared in my heart, in my in my spleen, I knew it was him. Just saying.
では、おこのぎはこの事件をどう見ていますですか？
現在、上が調査してますんで、いい加減なことは言えません。殺された2人の関係を知る以上、内部犯行の可能性が極めて高いっちゅうのは間違いないんじゃないかと。
I glanced over at Irie as I listened to Okanogi speak. It seemed that whoever he was talking to over the phone was accusing him of killing them. Irie was frantically trying to prove his innocence. Soon enough, he hung up the phone. Irie looked upset that he was under suspicion after working so hard for the organization. We already know that's part of the Takano's
Rika-san.
plan.
すみませんね。だいぶお待たせして。
入江も大変なことになったようなのです。
お聞きになった通りです。富武さんたちの死は何かの陰謀による可能性が非常に高いです。そして東京はその黒幕が私であると思っているよう
I
で
guess
す。
this clears Irie of any suspicion, by the way. Because, you know, my original thing was it's either Takano or Oishi, but, like, Irie is the Hail Mary, but, like, I will fully clear Oishi with, I mean, not Oishi, Irie with every part of my body, including my spleen, so good for you, Irie, even though you made that comment into Torigoroshi, which, like, sealed your fate in my book for so long.
まったくどうしてそういう方向になるのか大いに疑問です。
I rarely ever saw Irie get so emotional. He must be feeling as though all his efforts is being repaid with injustice. However, it is a fact that Irie was trying to fight against the budget cuts and downsizing of his research team. Tokyo is thinking that that could be his motive for killing them. That is a very ambitious motive, if I do say so myself. In any case, everyone in the organization is suspicious.
リカさんの心配は分かってます。高野さんたちを殺した何者かが次にあなたを狙わないとは限らないですからね。東京もそこは特に気にしていました。
山犬にもあなたの警護体制を最高にするよう命令が来ています。ご安心してくださいね。
それが聞ければ僕は少し安心なのです。
This was the first time the Mountain Dogs had ever tightened up my security. They usually become so busy keeping tabs on Irie after Tomotaki and Takano's death that they end up ignoring me. Even though they're dead, I'm still in a pretty favorable situation. Damn, is she really just not gonna follow the Takano is alive theory for a bit longer?
高野たちを殺した犯人に心当たりはないのですか？
東京の皆さんも調べられています。状況を見る限り内部事情に精通した人間の仕業です。どうやら真っ先に疑われたのは私のようです。
富武にああいう死に方をさせられるのは入江だけなのです。
そんなことはありません。おそらく東京の方も
Yeah.
H173 の話をしているのでしょうが、あれは危険な目的での研究が中止された時全て破棄されたはずです。あんなことは不可能だ。
ですが所長、こういうことが起こってしまった以上、東京は疑わざるを得ません。それに富武氏には予防薬があらかじめ与えられていたはず。にもかかわらず発
Oh,
症した
come
ので
on.
す。
It's funny and it's a good job at Irie, but that should, like, I don't know, that should ring some alarm bells for Takano, who actually administered the vaccine. I'm pretty sure she's the one who did it, so. Come on, Rika! Pick up the little dots. He's throwing.
天文学的低確率で起こった偶然だとしか言えません。とにかく絶対そんなことはありえないんです。
Irie is usually a very calm person. But once the people in Tokyo start suspecting him, he often loses his mind.
高野が犯人ということはありませんですか？高野なら内部の人間です。
高野さんがまさか。
But as he spoke, Irie also started to realize that everything could be explained if Takano was the culprit. Exactly. I was like, at the end of last session, I was like, oh, he's trying to suspect Takano, and then he just did it, and I'm like, no. But I don't know how to persuade him that it's the truth. Okay, Rika's not giving up on it. Good, good, good. More than anything, people want to hear a motive. Not who did something, but why. Knowing that probably isn't as important as it sounds. After all, you never know the motive unless the suspect talks. Guessing about the motive is just a waste of time. Not wrong, to be honest. In other words, it's stupid to assume that Takano isn't the culprit just because I don't know what her motive is. That's my thinking, but maybe it's just my thinking because of Umineko. About the motive stuff. No, they were kind of the opposite, I guess.
確証もないことを言っちゃいけませんね。
Sometimes they're like, oh, you should understand the motive, but I'm like, yeah, but like, do you?
あれだけ親切にしてくれたんじゃないんですか。それを疑っちゃ悪いですね。
It sucks that Rika wouldn't like suspect the mounted odds, but again, if they're part of one big organization, then I would be surprised too that Takano wouldn't just go AWOL. Because again, I also thought she was just working alone if it was her. Well, kind of. I also thought she could be working with Irie, but turns out that's not even a thing. I mean, it is kind of a thing. I'm confused. I've been rambling so much on this episode. Let's just move on. But I'm so excited. I can't help myself. Upon hearing me being ungrateful towards his boss, Otonoji flashed me an unpleasant smile. It's true that Takano was very nice to me. It might be disrespectful of me to suspect her. However, I still can't trust her completely yet. Perhaps I've developed the same bad habit as Oishi. Am I believing every crazy theory I hear just because I'm desperate to escape from my fate?
とにかく私たちの身近で何か良くないことが起こりつつあるのは間違いありません。用心するに越したことはないでしょ
う。ご心配なく。所長に対する警護体制も最高にするよう命令を受けておりますんで。
Irie smiled bitterly. For him, their protection wouldn't be too different from stalking.
リカさんも警察には不用意なことを喋らないようにお願いします。
Yeah, you wish.
分かってると思いますが、場合によっては機密保持のため、厄介なことになるかもしれませんので。
He was implying that he'd have to kill anyone I talked to. This isn't the first time they warned me about this. It's just, what if Takano really is the culprit? If she is, then Otonoji is almost certainly involved too. Ah, okay, so she is thinking like that. It's good. Then it made sense that he wouldn't want me to suspect Takano. But that would be horrifying. If Takano was my enemy, then the mountain dogs were too. The whole clinic is a lion's den. Irie is just a researcher, so he probably wouldn't know what's really going on. The more I thought about it, the more confused I got. Why would Takano do something like this? I thought I just convinced myself that the motive shouldn't even matter, but I can't stop thinking about it. Is Takano really behind it all? Am I going crazy as a Oishi just because of how badly I want to solve this mystery? Perhaps. The mountain dogs are more like wolves looking after a flock of sheep. I mean, sheepdogs? I've lived for over 100 years. I've never once found out who killed me, and I stayed close to the Irie Institute so that they'd protect me. What if that was my big mistake? Well, I'm sure that Irie has no bad intentions. In many lives, I just got to see how genuine his feelings are. I can trust him. However, he's not really reliable. Otonoji glanced over at me. He smiled and told me not to worry, but I noticed an evil glint in my eyes. Yes, he does look very evil. He honestly looked friendlier in Umireto, if my memory serves me right. He had a nice smile with his teeth showing. Maybe. That's what I remember. And a red suit. It's possible that I have Hinamizawa syndrome and that was just a hallucination. I don't understand anything. That's what it's called, Hinamizawa syndrome. I keep forgetting, even though it's not that hard to remember. I don't even know who my enemies are anymore. There's no point in thinking about this any longer. I have to only trust who I know I can trust for sure. There are only a few of those people, though. Irie, Oishi, and my friends. Yeah, okay. True. Chia! What, you telling me you don't trust Chia? The principal? They stood up so hard for Satoko. Honestly, just calling the otakus as the Rika defense dude. Imagine. Otakus versus mountain dogs. I actually think we might win, to be honest. You remember the Watanagashi Keiichi versus the Otaku? That was a brutal fight that Keiichi just didn't stand a chance. I think it might actually be a close fight. If Otonoji is on Takano's side, he will be watching me very closely. If I started accusing Takano of anything, who knows what they'd do to me. When this world first began, I thought I had no time left. But that wasn't true. The number of things that happened in just 2 weeks was immense. I probably only have a few more days left until the day of my death. What can I do? How can I change this? Am I supposed to take Hanya's advice and resign this time? Hell no. Let's go. I was a Debbie Downer, and I said this is probably over, but I suck, to be honest. Oh, this is a double chapter bait chapter? You know, that's probably like, to be honest, like a 25-minute session or something, which I stretched to 45 minutes because I couldn't. Okay, that's probably insane. It's probably closer to like a 35-minute sesh. And I just rambled. Sorry, I'm rambling so much. I'm just so excited. I mean, Endgame Higurashi has really revitalized my brain, and I just can't stop thinking about it, even when I'm not recording Higurashi. So I'm sort of in hyperdrive, but sadly, it's another. 45 minutes. Can you really call that a short episode? It's a standard episode. We're gonna wrap it up here, though. I mean, for you guys. For me, I'm actually gonna be reading the next episode, but again, stopping at chapter baits / chapter ends. That's just my style. I like to stick by it. It's my new way of doing things since Mayakashi, and it just makes the. See, it's only 9:45. I'm totally done to record after like taking a shower or something. It totally. I don't know. I just liked it. It feels better. Obviously, I can't do full chapters, or there would be like 3 to 4 hour episodes or whatever. But yeah, sorry. I thought it was pretty exciting. At least you got to see a lot of my thoughts, and Rika's on the Takano trail. Same with Oishi. So honestly, our odds are looking kind of bad. But if Rika does die and she's not totally emo about losing this world, then we kind of know what we need to do. We need to deal with the Takano problem early, while we need to stop one of our friends from reaching high symptoms. Which I don't know how exactly that works. I guess it was like Shion was almost reaching it from agitation, but maybe that was just agitation. I don't know. There's still so much answers. Well, there's so much. We got a lot of answers, but we still need so much more. But thank you guys for watching. As always, next episode will be New Year's Day. Ooh, New Year's Day special. What does that mean? Literally nothing. Actually, I might not even record Higurashi. I might just do record something else to spice things up. So yeah, but it's always been fun, and I'm really enjoying these last parts of Minagoroshi. It's been a fun time. I'm really enjoying this arc, honestly. But yeah, thanks for watching. Sorry, I'm rambling. I'm a rambler. What can I say? It's in my blood. But yeah, whenever I record the next episode, we'll see what happens. But yeah, thanks for watching. See ya!